I personally do not believe in business being 18 hours a day.
Yes, and it's a mind shift change.
Definitely.
Because having that mind shift change, you now open yourself up to bigger things.
Yes. We need to build a business that can essentially run without us being present.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Buzzing Podcast. Very excited once again to be here. The excitement is overflowing. So in this episode we're going to talk about entrepreneurs, the actual entrepreneur, what does it take to make sure that your business works for you and not against you. And I think so many entrepreneurs, they build businesses and it becomes something unhealthy for them, actually, more than something that is building you up.
Yeah.
So I think we have quite a lot to say on that. And quite recently we went through something like that. So just tell us a little bit about what happened and how did we get out of it?
Yeah.
How did we?
Yeah, so I mean, that's quite hectic. And I think it is, like you said, you need to have a balance in terms of that. And I think through our journey, one of the things that really made a massive impact was our spiritual journey, right? So just drawing closer to God. And obviously part of my personal testimony is just actually giving my heart to the Lord, and I think that made a massive impact. So that gave me an understanding of what needs to be a balanced lifestyle between business, personal, family time, making time for God in our schedule as well. Because God is the center of everything. So it needs to be priority. And when we get that understanding, I think that brings so much clarity to business. And I think once we miss that for ourselves, then that's the point where we get drained. Yeah. And I think personally, I mean, through the things that we went a couple of months ago was just missing the values and the purpose at the end of the day. Because I personally do not believe in business being 18 hours a day.
No.
Personally. I mean, I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs that does it that way. For me, I don't think you can have a balanced lifestyle working 18 hours a day, spending time with your wife, spending time with your children, making sure you spend time to bring God into the relationship and everything. I do not personally think you can do that.
No, you'll be spread so thin.
Yeah, and
there'll be nothing left of you.
Even not spending 18 hours in business, you still have so many things to juggle. So I think that what drains you a lot is when you don't focus on the right things anymore. So for us as well, I mean, when we went through the process of earlier this year, we actually bought over a payroll practice. And during that time, we made so many transitions in the beginning. And I mean, it went from a point where the payroll practice that we bought over was actually so doing things on an old school, well, according to me. Yeah. And then, I wanted to change everything immediately. Go cloud-based on a payroll system, teaching the payroll team new things and everything. And that actually became so much on some of the ladies that two of them resigned. And when they resigned, I mean, I had one person left in the payroll department having to handle all of this for a week long. So that was quite a lot. And during that week, I had so much weight on my shoulders. And you experienced it firsthand. And I mean, I must honestly say there came a point in time where I'm like, everything is going to collapse. Yeah. And I felt so drained because it was my own decisions that was made as well. And part was just not really allowing God's timing into it and not allowing us to work through it properly. And I think just going through it too quickly or, and implementing my own ways instead of trusting the process almost and, first getting the people to settle down, first getting an understanding of what's happening through that payroll. And one of those lessons, I mean, we spoke about it in a previous podcast, was being able to learn from other people. And I think I got a little bit ignorant, if I must say that, like where I just like where we bought the payroll practice over from the previous owner. I don't really think I gave her the benefit of the doubt enough. And I think maybe for a moment, I thought, but I know better. Right. And she's been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I came and I'm like, well, I can do it better. I have technology, or can do it cloud-based. And it actually taught me such a valuable lesson.
Yes.
Because it's not just about that specific moment, but it taught me in that moment, I needed to pivot, right?
Yes.
And I needed to say, like, I need to save this, because otherwise this is going to have such a big impact on the accounting firm. Because now we're bringing a payroll practice into this accounting firm, so there's much more work, but we need to pay that payroll practice back. We need to repay it. We need to settle the loan for that and everything. So it takes time.
Yes.
And now if all of a sudden you start losing clients because you are not doing the things on the right manner, then, it's going to affect you, and you're going to start repaying on something that you don't have. And, but anyways, I'm getting off the story. But what I'm trying to say there is what that taught me then at the end of the day is I needed to do a restructuring in the firm. And part of that restructuring was also asking the previous owner of the payroll practice, please come in a week or two. Just sit with the new ladies that's there, show them through the processes so that they can understand the client. So I needed to put my pride aside.
Yes. Oh, pride.
And that's the thing that drained me, was me thinking I know best.
Yes.
Right? And me thinking that I know how to get a solution for this by myself. And so there was a point in time where I was so ignorant that I didn't want to ask the previous owner of that payroll practice, please come in. And until it got to this point where I felt like this whole thing is going to collapse if I do not get help in, I actually picked up the phone, called her and say, please come in for a couple of days. But with that came such great breakthrough in business that, I mean, the amount of changes that happened in 2 months was so crazy.
Yeah.
Our payroll practice became so sustainable in that moment, where there was so much value that we brought in for the clients and everything. So that's something that drained me. And I don't know, what was your experience through that? When it had such a big impact on me, sitting in that moment and going through that, how did it make you feel, and how did it impact you?
Well, I think exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like being married, we understand in a godly principle we are one.
Yeah.
So being one flesh, what you go through, I go through.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're both down in the dumps. Yeah. It just means
luckily not.
It's weight.
Yes.
We both carry the weight. So I think a valuable thing that I learned from that is to wait. And to not do something prematurely, to make sure that we sit through the process. And I think during that time, we actually came up with the rule that with every decision, that's not just obviously what are we eating for dinner, which I feel like sometimes we do take that much time. But when there's a big decision, we have learned now, we have implemented take 3 days.
Yes.
All throughout the Bible as well, 3 days is so significant.
Yes.
For growth, for something new.
Yes.
And I think implementing that really, really made a big difference in both of our mindsets.
Definitely.
And just giving ourselves that time to really take a step back, breathe, and really think and talk through and pray through, okay, this is what is happening. This is the decision that we need to make.
Yes.
Let's take a look at it. And obviously in business, you don't always have 3 days for things like that. Yeah. But for that example that you used, we should have taken a few days and just think about, okay, this is what's happening, because we just hit the ground running and we just wait for it, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs does. They just go for it. And that's such a good characteristic to have, but it's also very dangerous if it's not balanced.
Definitely.
And I think that's what the whole thing is about, to have a balanced life, to have 100%. A healthy life, to make sure that your business works for you and not against you.
Exactly.
And how can we do that? How can we make sure that our businesses does not work against us, but it works for us?
Yeah. So, I mean, and that's a great question. And I think at the end of the day, it gets down to the word sustainability. Because how do we build a business? You know, people always say, I need to start working on the business and not in the business. And it sounds like just something that we just mention and say, but it's actually something that we need to implement. So how do we get to a point where we can actually build a sustainable business? And that is the balanced lifestyle.
Yes.
We need to build a business that can essentially run without us being present. That's not saying stay away and you don't have to go to work and you don't have to do this and you don't have to do that. No, you are the core foundation of that business, the mind behind it, the reason why clients come and use you.
Yes.
But you need to be able, and that's how you build a successful business, is you need to be able to carry over what you have into your employees.
Yes.
And carry over what you have into that business so that that business can run without you being there for a day or two. But the culture that you create in that company needs to carry the culture that you want for that. It needs to be that same thing. For us in the accounting practice, 5.5, 6 years later, there's still clients that's phoning me about a bank recon because they are so used to me. That was their idea one. I did everything for them. And I needed to do that. I needed to get to that understanding to say, but even though it's 6 years later, we have grown, I'm not necessarily going to be the one that does your bank recon anymore.
Yes.
But I must still be there to answer the phone if they need me.
Yes.
I must still be there to sort out solutions for them or problems for them and find solutions for them. And I think that's important is because from a service industry, it's tough because clients get used to you.
Yes.
And now you need to create a sustainable environment where in the service industry, how can you keep the clients happy without you being the one delivering the service always and have your staff delivering the service? And I think so one of the things of the business working for you is being able to create a sustainable business, being able to create something that the clients still want to use our accounting practice, or they still want to use that product that you're selling, or they still want to do that because they see and they believe in the service that's being delivered in there.
So do you think then it's important for an entrepreneur that there comes a certain time where it goes from, okay, it's Daisley that we're doing business with to, okay, we're doing business with Van Wyk consultants and accountants. Do you think that's important for them to make that transition for the sustainability part? Or is it good to always have that little bit of, okay, it's still Daisley from this?
Well, I think it comes down to, and that's what we want to do with Buzzing and everything as well, is to create a brand. And so the brand at the end of the day of Van Wyk consultants and accountants needs to be a place where people can feel comfortable. Clients need to feel that it's a solution for them, because it must be the brand more than the person.
Yeah.
Because the very important thing for sustainability, and this is going to sound crazy, but I can not be there tomorrow anymore. What happens then? Is the client still receiving the kind of service that they need to? So, and if you take me out of the business and the business can't run anymore, it becomes a problem, because then the weight was always on me. And so then you as an entrepreneur, you are going to feel drained because now everything is on your shoulders, right? And so the day that you are not there as an entrepreneur anymore, the business can't run. So then it is going to feel at the end of the month, it is you as Jessica paying the salaries. It's you as Jessica paying the rent. It's you paying this, where it needs to become, what is the business that you are creating? Because that business needs to cover the expenses.
Yeah.
And once you change your mindset from it's the business that needs to cover the expenses and not Jessica that needs to cover the expenses, I think you've made a lot of progress in getting the business to work for you in that aspect.
Yes, and it's a mind shift change.
Definitely.
Because having that mind shift change, you now open yourself up to bigger things.
Yes,
because
100%.
you as one person can only do so much,
Yes.
but you as a business, now the possibilities are endless.
100%. Yeah, definitely. So I think that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for joining us on Buzzing podcast. We look forward to our next one. Jess,
Yes.
thanks.
Thank you.